Hi everybody, it's Diane from Tattered Edges Design once again. Today I'm doing a little collage thing in a journal just for myself. I made this quite a few years ago, just out of scrapbook paper. It is double thick, but just out of scrapbook paper. It's just a single signature that's getting kind of fat. And because of the covers, I started doing collages in here that are vintagey looking. And I don't know why, haven't done a whole lot in this in a long time. So I just thought, you know what, because there's quite a few blank pages in here, but it's, getting there. So I would like to finish it off. So anyway, there's a nice big blank page right here. So I printed off a picture of one of my ancestors, and yes, I do know who that is. I'm lucky enough to know that. And I don't know when it was taken though. But you can tell from the style, it's got to be really old. I mean, definitely 1800s, but I don't know. 1880s, 70s even? I don't know. But anyway, I did pull some stuff out here, so we're not watching Diane hunt around for hours and hours. But I don't know. Like I said, this style that I'm working on in this and it's not all strictly, I don't know if I can find one. Like there's some newer postage stamps. It's an old barn, but not necessarily vintagey. There's a Buster Keaton picture. It's a modern owl. So it's not, everything has to be vintage, but that is kind of how I started with this. So there. And yeah, I said, I hope I can kind of finish this off pretty soon. I don't know, I like to have things done. I know a lot of people don't finish journals. Do you do that? Do you, get tired of a journal and just move on and don't worry about it? See, Diane would worry about it. Never finish that journal. I should do that. And I was lucky when I went to print that picture. I, turned my computer. I'm like, I'm never gonna find that. But I found it right away. That was sort of a nice surprise. Yeah, actually, this journal I made is. I think I did kind of make it for myself, if I'm remembering rightly, from the get-go. But I put all different sizes of papers in it, and that's actually kind of fun. I don't always do that. So this is an old map. I don't remember where I got it, but it's almost like a onion skin type paper. I don't remember where it came from. Must be old. So yeah, maybe when this is all done, I'll do a journal flip. I've got a lot of little collage-y journal books I have finished. I should, maybe when I have nothing going on, do flips of those, huh? So, what are you working on today? Yeah, I worked on a journal all this past week. Yeah, somebody wants something. There are other people in my house. Let's see what happens. Anyway, I worked on a journal all this week that was themed, so it was a little, those for me are a little more intense. So now that I'm done with that, I decided to have a little, freebie time. And I've got bread rising in the kitchen. So there's a news flash. or at least I hope it's rising. Let's look at it that way. I haven't checked on it lately. I guess I just pulled some junk out of my little I don't know what to do with it box. It's kind of cool. It's a, whoa, it's a security envelope. And once we get this background done, I don't know, I was thinking flowers, but I don't know if that, is that too predictable? Maybe after working all week on one journal, I can afford to be predictable. It's owed me. Well, I'll put that in there. Yeah, to be honest, I've learned, this is, I wouldn't go as far back to say one of the first journals I made, but more in that area. And I think I used to put too many pages in them. So by the time, if you're just writing, that's okay. But if you're gluing in a lot, then they bulk up, and a lot of people like that. You get the big fat, alligator mouth thing. But yeah, as I kind of showed, I'm not a huge fan of that. I'd rather have be nice and neat the way they're supposed to be. Well, I was kind of thinking this side, do we want something more over it because there's so much space there? Or, well, maybe behind, and then the predictable flowers or whatever could be over. I don't know. I don't know if I've done any painting in this one. Hang on a minute. Let me see what my dog wants. Okay, we're all happy now. And somebody started a leaf blower while I was gone, so that's the kind of whiny noise you hear. So anyway, yeah, it's not me whining. It's the it's a leaf blower. Well, it's kind of interesting. That's just scrapbook paper, scrap. And I checked on my bread. It seems to be doing okay. One thing in a journal like this, when the pages are all, different sizes, you end up with, see, you're seeing an edge from another page and this kind of business. So, I guess you don't have to, but I do take that into consideration then. Good for you, Diane. I guess I was done talking about that. But I do. I don't know if you... I suppose I don't necessarily flip. But if you're seeing it as you're working, then yes, I take that into consideration. I kind of like this because of the color. It's part of an old postcard. I mean, like a mail-in kind of postcard out of a magazine, that kind of thing. Alright, well, what else does this chap want? Well, that matches. That matches, so how about that? No, those don't match, so not that. Here, should we move this over so you can see what's in this exciting box? This is the one I used, yeah, in a prior video. Oh, I think it was the Collage APC one staple things, but it's changed a little bit since then. Actually, those numbers match pretty well. It's interesting. Now I've got my number packet here too. Well, Maybe we should just work with that for a little bit. Some plaid stamps. Those kind of match, but I don't know that I really want them in there. Do you ever have stuff like this? It's supposed to be in a different box, and I keep putting it aside so it can go in the other box, but I never put it in the other box, and so then when I'm cleaning up, it's like, oh, we'll just throw it in there. So I throw it in there and go, it's not supposed to be in here. It's supposed to be in the other box. All right, well, let's goof around with this stuff. This is scrapbook paper. Let's cut this all out. This was just a magazine. Not too old either. Within the last couple of years. Well, do we want the post thing he's sitting on or not really? Hang on a minute. Let me think about that. Okay, not that I needed to think about that long, but I wanted to make sure my oven timer wasn't going to go off either. And I have some family outside, and I thought they were coming in, but they didn't. And so I figured that was a good time to pause. So here we are again. Well, that's too, you know. Or do we want it the other way around? Well, let's think about that. This is scrapbook paper too. And yeah, I didn't get out any scrapbook paper flowers that I was talking about. Of course, I should have cut this out while I was goofing off there for a minute, right? But you didn't. So we'll take a vote. Do you like journals when they get really gator mouth and bulky and, you know, too big for their spines, or you don't like that? Well, all this stuff matches, but it looks like it's, you know, she just threw it on. There's no composition going on here yet. I guess that's my job, right? As the creator. That's better. Do I have more of that paper? Yeah, there's a couple little branch things. Let's see what that does. Yes, the leaf blower is still whining. Oh, nose, sorry, my nose is drippy today. It's the weather. It's kind of, that's interesting. Yeah, so I didn't give the weather report. It's kind of damp, chilly, like around 50. It was okay though. I mean, it's partly sunny. It was fairly nice today. This is later in the day now. But yeah, I'm not really used to these chillier days yet. Okay, I like that, but it also almost needs, I mean, one more to go past this corner there. Well, I could live with that. Maybe we'll just glue this and take it from there. And this is coming together relatively quickly. And then too, if you have a bulky journal and you know, the longer you work in it. Now I'm gluing and it's sort of hitting a, you know, ridge or a bump or whatever to say it from pages underneath. It's just the thrill of working in a bulky journal. Now I could rubber stamp too if I felt like it. Just all kinds of things we could do, right? Yeah, I'll have to flip when I'm done here. I don't think I've painted in this one. Yeah, I don't think I did. It's more just collage, not really mixed media. I'm not even sure if I've done much stamping in this at all. One thing I don't like about working in books like this, get on there, you can't sew. You could sew something and then glue it down. Could do that. But for me, when I make a collage, sewing is really the last thing I do. So I'd almost have to make a collage and then glue it in, you know, glue the whole thing in as a one piece. Is that, you know, do we understand what she's talking about? No, Di, we're off making tea. Just keep rambling to yourself. We muted. Yeah, we muted and sped it up. Ever want, if you have old pictures or you know your family's genealogy, like I have no idea what this man's occupation was. I know some in the past, but I don't know what his was. Interesting to know, I think. So there, if you know this stuff, write it down in your family notes. Well, I don't think I necessarily want more wordy things. I'll get rid of that. I don't know, it's kind of could almost be done. Let me try to hit this white paper with some ink. If I can get in there. Oh yeah. All right, that's better. I don't know. Actually, I think it could almost be done. Kind of like the color of this, but I don't know if it needs. Yeah, it could stand. Little color there, I guess. Let's see. I'll cut the top off and just have these numbers here. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. But yeah, does it need flowers or leaves or something that's a little more organic than we have, you know, rectangles, rectangles, rectangles? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. Well, do you want to talk amongst yourselves? Oh wait, I think that this just happened to be out, but maybe we don't want that with an owl. Can we mix our, you know, our species there? Does that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I like that. Let me, yeah, okay, let me talk about it a distance. If I just look quick and grab my hair. Yeah, that's something. Let's cut one out and see. This was Penelope D paper, I think, which I really liked, and it seemed like, I don't know if they're still around. If they're not, they weren't around for very long, and I thought they had really nice paper, but I don't know. Yeah, these companies just, you know, don't let Diane in on all their dealings. It's a nice quality too. Although, do you find if you fussy cut a lot, you'd almost rather have thinner paper? Because I think that's easier to cut. Alright, I'm going to hurry up and cut this out and see what we think quick, and then go check the bread because I think the timer is going to go off. Alright, and do we want more than one? And where? That's pretty. Oh, that's nice. All right, think about if we need more flowers. I'm gonna go check my oven. Okay, the bread is baking now. And so that's where we left that. And I cut out another one, and I kind of like this. But then as you can tell, there's nothing going on over here. So I cut out this one. So I like that. So I think we're gonna glue. And then I had one other point on this to make. So we'll keep you in suspense. By the way, these are off that same flower scrapbook paper. Do you think, in 130 years someone will make some cool collage with one of my pictures, a photograph of me? I don't know. Someone's going to be holding up a picture of me going, I don't really know when this is from. Okay. Now the point I was going to make, I feel this is kind of too bright. This one, for some reason, it doesn't bug me. This one, it's pulling your eye up there. So I was thinking we just even lay, like, that's not bad, over it. Don't you think that's better? I think it's better. So that's what we're going with. Because I can't hear anybody. Okay, so that takes care of that. And I think this is done. I think. Okay, and as long as this doesn't take too long, I thought, well, I've got this page right here, and those, butterfly moths I was showing before, and this matches really well. So what if we put that over here? But that looks kind of dumb to me. So I think, you could just sew it out. I was thinking just maybe putting something under it, because I really didn't plan on painting. Oh, that's not bad. Do we like that? And do we want it all over the whole thing? Or just like where... I don't know, because I hadn't given much thought. Or do we want it like centered? For some reason I liked it lower. Well, now we're not sure. Well, that line is sort of interesting. Let's see. Cut it and incorporate that. Stay up there. That's kind of interesting. How about that? Alright, I can live with that. Alright, here's a good question. How do you glue sewing pattern tissue? I find it a big pain. Although, actually, glue stick works pretty well. And this is just what I have found. But if you don't get every, area, it's real easy for it to come up. So I usually try to do, just like I normally do. Try to do the edges with wet glue and then the middle with glue stick. I suppose, if you're a Mod Podge matte medium person, that might be a good route, right? I don't know. I'm not one of those people. Right. Okay. Now to me, this page would just be a little more of an accent, does that make sense? Than having a whole nother busy collage over here. So I think, simpler, maybe just like a border on top or something like that. That's too busy. It's okay. Oh, I kind of like that. Well, let me cut it to see. This was a scan of an old postcard, and this was part of the border on the postcard, and I didn't want the border, but I saved it. And I have used most of it in other projects. Well, no, that was telling me my oven's preheated. Now, I think this one's almost too light up there. Everything has to beep at you nowadays. I know. Okay, do we want to get on the old, Diane soapbox, old lady complaining? It's like my microwave. It beeps when you open the door. It beeps for every, every button and every command. It beeps when it's done. It beeps, when you open the door to take it out. Or if you don't do it, get it every 2 minutes, then it beeps to remind you. Okay, let's continue with the soapbox. Like most TVs and that kind of electronics, they'll have a light that, just say it's like blue when it's off and orange when it's on or whatever. It's like, don't you know when your TV's off or on? I don't see the need for these lights that glare in your brain at night. Okay, enough of that. Well, I don't know. It's neat. Is it enough? Done? Adequate? However you want to phrase that. Do we need, well, not blue. Do we need not blue? Just something. Oh. Well, something over the words is nice, but since it's not dead center with this, and it's the same thing, to me it doesn't look right. It's a thought, though. I don't know, maybe the words are okay. Stop me if you see something interesting. Wait, put that on. And for anyone that saw that APC video, you're going, oh, this is the same dumb stuff. That's not so dumb. It's fabric. I gotta get my fabric scissors. I even remember what this was. I made a pair of pillowcases last year. Alright. I want that down here. I think so. Okay, glue that. just nice and quiet. It doesn't happen in my life enough. Okay. Well, you know, that could just be fine. I have to add antennae. I usually just add them with a pen instead of trying to cut them out. And no, I don't always get them perfectly, you know, symmetric, but that's pretty close. I'll try inking, see if I can ink these. Alright, well, I don't know, anything else on the moth side, butterfly, whatever it is? Probably a moth. I mean, I don't think it really needs anything, but I don't know if these words are too much. Do I need to knock them back now that I drew the antennae in? Well, I don't know, maybe it's okay. I do have, I don't know, I guess there's a lot of text in here. Maybe I'll just leave it. Or leave it for now. Okay, gang, I think I'm going to leave it for now. Maybe forever. But there we have it. Another 2 pages done in this journal. So I don't know. Maybe I need to stick with this more so I can get it done. Yeah, there's quite a lot of, you know, I guess not a ton of blank. Enough to make it a little foreboding, but okay. So there you have it. A vintagey style collage. Strictly collage, no paint or sewing or anything, in my Getting Fat vintage journal. Alright, thanks for joining me and have a nice day out there.